All right. If you've been in a cross-legged position for a while, just go ahead and switch the cross. Pull the buttocks flesh back and out to the sides. So as usual, I'll have you all set on mute. If you want to speak up, just unmute your own side and feel free to ask any questions as we go. So take your hands to the floor, fingertips if you need to, press down. Take the lower back in. Sit at the points of the buttock bones, let the legs be heavy, let the knees feel heavy. Draw the lower back in so you're at the points of the buttock bone, press the hands down to make the chest light. Feel the rib cage lift towards the ceiling, but let the shoulders release slightly down. And maintaining all of this, just bring the backs of the hands to the knees or to the thighs. Head level over the shoulders, chin roughly parallel to the floor, and just for a moment, close your eyes from top to bottom. We lose one of our primary sources of perception when we close our eyes. The other senses get stronger. Let your sense of touch increase. Let's start at the face. Observe the tension that might be in the forehead, in the face itself. Soften the forehead, soften the eyebrows. With your eyes closed, let the gaze go a little bit downwards, away from the brain, towards the floor, towards the nose. And even though your physical eyes are closed, as Iyengar would say, open the eyes of the temples. Get a sense of softness and release in the sides of the head. Relax the cheeks, soften the jaw and the tongue. Let the tongue rest at the bottom of the mouth and release it all the way to its root, so the throat remains soft. And observe that this quietness and passivity in the face begins to give the signal to the mind that it can quiet down. But now, maintaining this, go to the spine, lift the chest. And as the chest lifts, again, soften the shoulders, let them descend a little bit away from the back of the neck, from the base of the skull. And observe, did you harden the area of the inner groins or the legs over the last couple of minutes? Re-soften and find again that heaviness, that weight, that sense of release from the hips down. For a moment, observe the breath without force or strain. Let your inhalations be more full. Let your exhalations be a little bit more complete. Release some of that residual air that tends to lie at the bottom of the lungs. And then bring the palms together at your chest in prayer. Keep the front chest lifting, keep the shoulders descending down. As the shoulders continue to descend, bow the head forwards, surrendering the ego of the mind to the wisdom of the heart. Release your hands to your thighs. Lift your head with eyes closed. And open the eyes. Good. Everyone take your arms forward. Interlace your fingers. Turn the palms so that they face out. Get the arms very straight. Take them up. Baddha-Kolasana. Down fingers pose. Get the arms as straight as you can. Pull those outer elbows in. Lift the chest, but let the shoulders descend down. Keep getting the outer elbows rolling in towards each other as the shoulders descend. Lift the rib cage and the chest. And then finally reach more through the root of the thumbs, the root of the index fingers. So instead of the pinky sides of the hands going up, which makes the arm bend a little more, try to get the root of the thumbs up to engage the arms even more. Straighten them. Good. Turn the hands over. Switch the interlace, change the interlace, back on up. Again, get the arms very straight. Pull those outer elbows in. Lock the arms. Let the shoulders descend and then project more through the root of the thumb, the index fingers. to find that space. So the hands, the root of the thumbs are reaching up, but the shoulders are reaching down. Good, turn the hands over, release, and down. Get your strap, assuming you have one, get a strap. Towel, necktie, whatever, a necktie, towel, whatever you need. So watch me for a moment. I'm holding the strap in front of me. The arms are roughly parallel. Now, you're going to notice that depending on how close the hands are together, you might find more or less movement fluidity. So I recommend keeping the arms a little bit away. Just watch me for a moment. I take the arms up and then sort of let them drop back. Now, what you'll notice, some of you, if you're a little tight, if the stance is narrow in the strap, you're going to have to lead with one arm or the other. Try to make it so that the arms are far enough apart that there's a smooth movement from front to back. So slowly hold the strap in front of you, keep the distance, take the arms up, and sort of right around when that strap goes around the crown of the head, begin to drop back and ask yourself, am I having to lead with one arm or the other? If I do, give yourself a little more slack so that there can be a smooth, fluid movement. If there's any sort of constriction in the hinge, or like I said, if you feel like one arm is moving, having to lead and the other arm isn't, separate wide enough to get that smooth movement. After you've done it a few times, just bring your arms down. Yeah, there it is, Peter, exactly. So you have to create a little space there for that movement. Yep. So we're going to be looking at shoulders a little bit today, and I just want to do some basic anatomy first before we go anywhere. So for when it comes to the shoulder, okay, I'll just talk about joints in general. So we have a hinge joint, which is the knee, right? So the leg goes this way. It can't really go sideways very much, but it can go forward and back. So that's one type of joint. And then we have the hip joint, which is the ball and socket, right? So there's much more mobility, movement because of that setup. Now the shoulder isn't either one of those things. It's just three bones: the collarbone, the upper arm bone, and the shoulder blade. And they all just kind of hang together, and they're tied together with mesh, with ligament, tendon, musculature, all that stuff that kind of holds it together. The benefit of it not being either a hinge or a ball socket is that it's the most mobility of any joint, right? We can really move in a lot of different ways. Now, because of that, there's a trade-off, right? Sometimes we're more inclined towards injury in shoulders. You've heard rotator cuff problems. You've heard like bursitis, which is actually fairly common. Now, there's something also known as impingement, right? Have you heard that term, impingement? So what that is actually the shoulder blade and the upper arm bone pushing into each other. And I wanted to give you just an example of this. Now get the strap once again, just for a second. Same idea. This time, instead of having the arms so far apart that there's a smooth movement, just so you can see what impingement feels like, have your arms closer together, take the arms up and begin to bring them back. It's a lot harder. And then you find out, yeah, you have to lead one side or the other, right? What this is, so you can feel what I'm talking about, right? Are you with me here? Like the limited movement. What's happening? So you have the shoulder blade, which is sort of it's a scapula. It's sort of shaped like this, right? And you have this little thing that sticks out, which is called the acromion, which you can actually feel. You can touch it. It comes along the back. It's sort of the other side, like you have the collarbone here, and this thing that feels like a back collarbone is actually part of the shoulder blade. Now, what happens is when you take your arms up and those straps are close, is that end of the shoulder blade, that acromion, begins to push into the upper arm bone, the humerus bone, and it squeezes the bursa sac, it squeezes all this. So that's what impingement is. So when you're feeling that, that's exactly what the problem is. The bones are pushing into each other and squeezing the flesh and material in between. That can cause strain and difficulty. So a lot of what we're going to be doing today is sort of trying to create space there so impingement doesn't happen, so the mobility happens in the shoulders. So all that in mind, we're going to go now to Gomukhasana, cow's head pose. Everything okay? I mean, is that clear enough on the anatomy, a little bit of idea? Good, okay, excellent. Now, cow's head pose again. If you're going to do it, take the strap. If you need the strap, put it over your right shoulder, take your left arm up, right arm up.
So even here, the stuff that we do, we've all done this before. I know everyone in this class has done this before, where we grab this tricep and roll it forward. What you're doing is clearing space. You're reducing the chance of impingement between the shoulder blade and the upper arm bone. Now bend your arm at the elbow. Keep that right elbow aiming up towards the ceiling. Don't let it go out, but also at the same time, get the bone to stay in the socket a little bit. So instead of reaching it up, let it digest into the chest. Good. Extend your left arm out. And it's the same thing. I'm really reaching, rotating, lifting this shoulder blade up to get it out of the way as I begin to rotate and find the fingers, find the strap when you're in position. Good. Now observe, of course, when we get there, we adjust our bodies to do it. Realign, reorient the spine so it's straight. Rewrap the right tricep more forward, but again, ask that upper arm bone to sink into the socket. And this rotation of the arms is what clears space and reduces the chance of impingement. Good, release. Both arms out to the side for a moment, and then down, and just sort of observe how the shoulders feel for a second. The right side compared to the left. One was doing up, one was doing down. Other side. Take your left arm up. Right hand grabs that tricep, pulls the whole humerus bone around to clear space so that the shoulder blade doesn't push into that area. Keep the left elbow aiming up, but get the bone to stay in the socket. Extend your right arm out. And again, rotate from the shoulder blade. Really feel the whole right shoulder blade lift to find space, and then fingers together, strap, whatever you're using. Rewrap that left tricep forward. Again, redescend the upper arm into the socket. Adjust the body. Did the head come forward? Keep the head level over the shoulders. Is that left rib cage dropping? Lift that, right rib cage. Lift the right rib cage. Good, release. Again, both arms out to the sides and down. Good, everybody come to standing, please. Have your feet a little bit apart and parallel. Straighten out the legs. Have the arms a little bit away from the body. So again, we're just going to work a little bit of the position of the arms and see how it reflects into the chest. So one of the things I've often mentioned is that these three bones, the humerus bone, the collarbone, and the shoulder blade, they can't move independently. They all have to move together in some way. So if I ask you to move the collarbone, it's going to move the humerus, it's going to move the shoulder blade. So with that in mind, take your arms a little bit away from the body. Roll the triceps deeply forward so that the palms begin to turn out. Roll the triceps towards the front of the room, the biceps towards the back, away from you, towards the wall behind you. Now, as you do this, let the tops of the shoulders descend down the back and reach. It's almost like you're holding two heavy suitcases in the arms. They're being drawn down, but you're still very actively turning those triceps. The triceps should be firm, not soft. They should be hugging the bones and rolling forward, creating this space in the upper chest. You'll feel the shoulder blades push towards each other. You'll feel the collarbones draw away from each other. I'm asking you, we're overdoing it a little bit. Go ahead, really make those triceps roll forward. Really make those biceps roll back. Good, release, come out. And just observe how the shoulders feel. Just that movement creates some sense of space. Now we're going to take the arms out to the sides a little more. Same idea. Roll the triceps forward. Roll the inner elbows towards the ceiling. Firm. I've talked about this before. So instead of the deltoid doing all the work to hold your arm up, let the tricep do some work. So instead of it just being soft there, awaken it, firm it, lift the arm from underneath. It helps open up the elbow more. So if this tricep is soft, you'll see my inner elbow isn't fully open. When I firm that tricep, the inner elbow joint finds more space. And also, this supports the arm, right? Instead of the deltoid doing all the work, it's almost like a shelf lifted from underneath. So now from here, I keep the triceps firm, but I'm softening the shoulders and let them release down, creating more broadness. Now you should feel as if you have two people pulling your wrists away from each other. Keep drawing the shoulders down. Lift the arms from underneath so the triceps, again, aren't soft. They're actively supporting the arms, actively opening up the inner elbow joint. Good, release and come down. Get a block, please. If you don't already have one, get one. So now you're going to get the block between you and your hands, not in the fingers, but the heel of the hand. So right at the wrist, right sort of, so you have something active to push into. The arms are forward again, and we're playing the same thing. Take the triceps towards each other, the biceps away. The inner elbow should aim towards the ceiling. Now observe that when we do this, we tend to shove forward, draw the outer elbows back into the sockets. Now pressing the hand, the heel of the hands in the block, keep the navel going towards the spine, take the arms up, Urdhva Hastasana. But keep again rolling the triceps towards each other. Squeeze the block with the heel of the hands, and from there, lift the back ribs up towards the ceiling. Use that to sort of, the pressure of the hands in the block awakens the shoulder blades and narrows the shoulder blades into the back chest. Good. Release. Come on back down. So what happens here again, and this is one of the challenges that we have, briefly, you can just watch. My shoulder blades, this is the outer edge of the shoulder blades into the triceps. When I roll the triceps forward, the outer edge of the shoulder blades wants to come forward. We actually want to do the opposite. These shoulder blades need to go in, even though the tricep is coming forward. Tricep comes forward, the shoulder blade rolls back. One more time, heel the hands on the blocks. And this is all going to feed into some of the standing poses. Good. Take the arms up. So again, I'm telling you to roll the triceps forward, but imagine I'm there. I'm pushing your shoulder blades in towards each other. So instead of them flaring out, they're narrowing. They're narrowing. And you'll feel this whole upper chest, instead of flaring, goes in. Lift the chest, lift the rib cage, press the heel of the hands in the block, reach up. Good, take the arms down. Cool. Place the blocks on either side of the back half of your mat for some standing poses. So just in sort of the tiredness, right? And just the work we've done, try to and sort of use that as a way to sort of allow yourself to feel more deeply in these poses. Separate your feet. Turn your left toes in, turn the whole right leg out. Keep your left hand on your waist. Take your right hand to the block. Let's all start at the highest point. Don't worry about going too deep. You can even take your hand to your near shin if that's easier, or the chair, a chair if you prefer. We haven't done much with the legs, so don't worry about going super deep with the legs. Now, I'm going to give you the wrong instruction first. I'm going to tell you the thing that we don't want to do so you can feel why. So I'm holding the block. I'm going to turn my fingers forward. I'm doing the opposite rotation that I've been asking you to do. Take the tricep in, the bicep away. So I'm teaching you the wrong way first so you can see why. I'm turning the hand in the other direction. And you can feel that there's closure in the chest. Take that left arm up. And same thing, for the heck of it, do the opposite of what I tell you to do. You'll feel that the shoulder blades stick out and the chest rounds, right? So now for a second, reestablish. Do the correct thing now. Begin to turn the heel of the hand away from you. So the tricep is now towards the body, the bicep is away. And you'll feel that the shoulder blade begins to have to push into that back chest. It's the same thing with the upper arm. Roll the triceps sort of towards the screen and feel that the shoulder blade pushes into that back chest. So the arms are working in service to the spine to find space in the upper front chest. The arms should be very, very straight. Good. Pull from the top hand, come up and out. Hands to your waist, directly to the other side. Right toes in, left leg out. And we're going to do the same thing. We're going to sort of do the wrong way first so you can see why it's wrong. And then we'll move to the correct variation. So just take your left hand to the block, right hand on your waist. Both legs straight, fine triangle pose. But just for a second, internally rotate the arm. So this way, so the wrong way, right? And as soon as you do this, you'll feel that shoulder blade. Like I said, the bones can't move independently. So if I'm rotating the humerus bone, the upper arm bone, the shoulder blade is going to start sticking out and it's not going to support my back chest. I feel closure. Same thing with the other arm. For the heck of it, just do it the wrong way there. You'll feel like it closes the chest. Now let's go to the correct variation. Deeply turn the heel of the hand away from the body. Deeply rotate this arm and feel how that left shoulder blade begins to push into that back chest. Right arm up, same thing. Turn the right tricep forward so you feel that right shoulder blade pushing into the back chest. Broaden the arms away from each other to find that space. Let the arms work as tools to keep some space in the upper front chest. Feel the tips of the shoulder blades pushing into that back chest. And then to come out, pull from the top hand up and out. Hands to your waist. Keep parallel. Walk them together. And then again, pause. So one of the things that I really think about when I'm in my own practice is finding, standing poses are not just for the legs and for the lower back, right? You can feel that when we work in the area of the shoulders, that these standing poses, these triangle pose can be very helpful for the neck and for the shoulders. Take a moment to observe even how the neck feels and the sinuses. A lot of times just getting that space in the shoulders creates clear space in the chest and in the sinuses. Good, we're gonna go to warrior pose. Hands to your waist, separate your feet. Turn your left toes in, turn the right leg out. Go ahead and bend that right leg, keep the left leg straight. So warrior pose legs. Good, so we're in warrior 2 legs. Take the arms to warrior 1 position. Lift the arms, lift the chest. Now again, let the shoulders inject into the sockets, keep the palms facing up, take the arms out to the sides. Yep, palms facing up. So again, it's the same thing as before with the triceps. So instead of them being soft and not really doing much, awaken them, firm them so your inner elbows open more. As you lift the arms from the triceps, let the shoulders descend and release away. Create space. Don't worry about turning the hands over. So your chest is lateral to the leg. So you're not turning towards the front leg. You're sideways. Kathleen. No. Now, hands to your waist, straighten the leg. Go directly to the other side. Right toes in, left leg out. Stand on that right leg as you bend your left leg. Get the left knee directly over the heel. Take the arms up first. Inhale, lift the chest, drop the shoulders. Already, see if you can keep the triceps awake and lifting the arms from underneath. The deltoids are dropping and releasing towards the hands. The triceps are awakening and lifting from underneath. Broaden the shoulders, increase that distance. Good, hands to your waist, straighten the leg. Left toes in, right leg out. Arms up. Same thing, inner elbows rolling up, triceps forward, firm the triceps. This time we'll do the classic version of the hand. Don't change the arms. We're going to change the arms as little as you can while turning the hands over. Good. Keep pressing that left foot in the floor, bend your right leg. Yep, now we're going to look towards the middle finger of the right hand. Keep the back of the neck and the jaw soft as you turn and look towards the middle finger of the right hand. So now find the activity of the triceps doing their job, but the passivity and quietness of the back of the neck and the throat. Good. Straighten out the leg, hands to your waist. Final side, right toes in, left leg out. Same idea. Take the arms up for a moment, lift the chest, arms out to the sides with the triceps. Again, firming, holding to keep the inner elbow joint open. Turn the hands over, but don't lose what you found here. Good. Keep pressing that right foot in the floor, bend your left leg. Now isolate the activity and work of the shoulders, the deltoids, the triceps from the passivity and quietness of the neck. Keep the neck, the jaw, the turn from the back of the head and look at that left hand. Keep the shoulders descending. Good, straighten out the leg, hands to your waist. Feet parallel. Walk the feet together for a moment. Stand in Tadasana. And again, just sort of observe all this work we're doing, and something I learned when in a lot of workshops I take with teachers, we would do a fair amount of this stuff. And you've heard me talk about this in class, like there'll be 50 people in class and we're all here in warrior pose and the teacher's going around making adjustments for 5 minutes and we're all here. Can we just get out of the pose? There is, and again, but there's a benefit that comes from that through the tiredness and the work that you've done. Just as you're sitting here now, you can take your arms back down, but just feel that there's more space. Yeah, they're tired, but there's just a little bit more capacity there. Through the work, come space. Take your hands to your waist, separate your legs. We're gonna head for side angle pose. Left toes in, right leg out. Go ahead and bend that right leg. Left hand on your waist, take your right hand to the block. Right hand to the block at its highest point. We're heading for side angle pose. Yeah, and you can do the elbow to the knee too. Now, we're going to, again, observe what the arm does here. So if your hand is on the block or if your elbow is on the knee, you can kind of do the same thing. Rotate, turn, if your elbow's on the knee, turn your wrist in. So the tricep is doing the opposite of what we should be doing. Same thing here. Like we did with the block, instead of having the heel of the hand away, turn the opposite. And just feel how unhelpful that is to the spine, right? How you feel the shoulder blade of that right shoulder blade has left the body. Now, again, we're going to rotate the entire arm like we did with triangle pose, so that the heel of the hand goes away from the body. And you immediately feel that the tricep is pushing in and the shoulder blade gives you a little bit more leverage to work the chest. Good. Now, we're going to experiment with the left arm. For starters, take your left arm parallel to the floor. And then I'm just giving you a couple variations. Think about the tips of the fingers. You're trying to create as big an arc with the fingers in the hand as you can when you bring it up and over. Make a huge arc. Reach that arm up and over and then find the space. Come to the classic version. Here again, the tricep forward. And if you want to prove me wrong, roll the tricep back and feel how much less support you have. The tricep forward, shoulder blade in. Good, hand to your waist. Come on up and out. Other side. Right toes in. Whole left leg out. Go ahead and bend that leg. Elbow on the knee or on the block, but again, play with this. Do the wrong way first for a second. Internally rotate that arm and feel how little support you have of the chest through the work of the arm. And then correct it. Do what we know to do. Do what I've been asking you to do. Roll the tricep away from the body so you feel that shoulder blade pushing in. That shoulder blade should push into the left back chest. Now, take your right arm to parallel. And from the tips of the fingers, you're trying to make as big an arc with the arm as you can. So you reach it up and over, up and over. Same thing here, the tricep should come forward, even though your shoulder blade should draw in. Shoulder blade narrows, even though the tricep comes forward. And this reduces, again, that impingement of the shoulder blade with the upper arm bone. Good, press the back foot in the floor, inhale, come up. Keep parallel. Walk them together. Tadasana. Straighten the legs, lift the chest. Again, observe the feeling. So we've been focusing on the shoulders. Of course, the legs have done work, but really feel the capacity, observe the effect of what we've done so far in the area of the upper chest, the back chest, the shoulders. We're doing side angle pose one more time. Separate your legs. Left toes in, right leg out. Bend the leg. Elbow to the knee or hand to the block or to the floor. Go immediately to the correct variation. Roll the bicep back, the tricep forward. This time, instead of taking the arc, your arm's going to be parallel to the floor. Keep the palm facing down, but the inner elbow rolling up. This time, slide the arm forward and let it begin to cross the plane of the inner ear of the ear and begin to turn the chest towards the ceiling. Again, now you can begin to look up if you want, but turn from the back of the head. Look underneath your left armpit, but turn from the back of the head. Keep the jaw soft, the neck soft. And look up. Good, hand to your waist. Gently release, come up and out. Right toes in, left leg out. Bend the leg, elbow to the knee, hand to the floor, whichever. But again, now do that correct rotation, the external rotation of that left arm so that the tricep comes forward. You feel that left shoulder blade pushing in. The right arm this time will be parallel to the floor. Look at my shoulder. I'm not crowding the shoulder. Even here, I'm trying to keep a distance from the ear and the shoulder. Now, in the same way I was trying to get a big arc, try to create a big arc forward. The palm faces down. Let the arm go roughly in line with the ear and begin to turn the chest up from there. Your left shoulder blade should be pushing into the back chest. Your right tricep comes forward while the right shoulder blade narrows into the back body. From the back of the neck, if you can, turn and look up. Underneath your armpit. Good, inhale, come up and out. Keep parallel. Walk them together. Tadasana. Straighten the legs, lift the chest. So the last standing pose we're going to do is half moon pose, Ardha Chandrasana. If you want to have some support, if you want your back at a wall, if you want to use, a chair or a block for any kind of balance and support, you're welcome to. But the idea is going to be the same. We're going to have you again, awakening that arm, using the tricep to give you support. Separate your legs. We're only doing this pose once on both sides, so make it good. Turn the left toes in, turn the whole right leg out. Then that right leg, keep your left hand on your waist. Pause right here. Now, even here, you can begin to adjust the arm. So roll that tricep forward, that bicep away, and you'll notice it'll force the chest to open. Keep the chest opening towards the ceiling. Step your back leg in, move the hand forward, right hand on the block or on the floor, wherever you are. Kick the left arm up, left leg up. Your right hand should be directly below the right shoulder. And again, this tricep should be pushing forward to make the chest rotate towards the ceiling. Left hand on your waist, point the left elbow back to open the chest higher. Good, from there, take the left arm up. Get the shoulders, tops of the shoulders to go down the back. Scoop the shoulder blades into the back chest to open the front chest. Dip the shoulder blades in, roll those triceps deeply forward and increase the distance between, increase your wingspan. Aerial leg, reach that left heel, left groin towards the left heel. Good, hand to your waist. Bend that right leg. Release it out. Final side. Left toes in, right leg out. Sorry, right toes in, left leg out. Go ahead and bend. That left leg, take your hand to the floor or the block, whatever you're using. But again, play with this. Observe the stuff we've been working on. Get the external rotation so you feel that shoulder blade pushing into the back chest. Step the back leg in, move the hand forward. Left hand directly below the left shoulder. Awaken both legs. Stand on that right leg as well as the left. Lengthen from your inner right groin to the heel. Left tricep pushes towards the front, towards the screen. Feel that left shoulder blade push in. Take that right arm up. Same thing. Right tricep rolling forward. Here, this down arm should feel like it's pushing this way to create space on that whole left side. Let the arms work as tools to support the body, to support the chest. Good, hand to your waist. Bend that left leg. Release. And carefully come out. Feet parallel. Walk them together, Tadasana. Separated legs, forward bend. Prasarita Padottanasana. You can have whatever blocks, chair, whatever support you'd like to have. It is this one. This pose, I want you to watch for a moment though. Again, with the work of the arm, we're going to use the arms as tools. So, just so you can see, I'm going to have you do what we've been doing, which is the wrong way first. Turn the hands in so you can feel what the shoulder blades, you can see my back chest. Then when I turn the hands out, suddenly I can find much more space. And then I want to emphasize something too. Quadricep, tricep. Quadricep, tricep. They actually sort of, for the quadricep is the tricep of the leg. The tricep is the quadricep of the arm, essentially, right? And the two need to push against each other. Your quadricep is pushing back. Your triceps are pushing forward, and the spine wins through this. Okay, so let's work from there. Separate your legs nice and wide. Hands on your blocks, chair, whatever you want to use. Now, again, just observe for a moment. Turn the fingers towards each other. Do the wrong way first, right? Internally rotate and just, you feel those shoulder blades, they spread and they go away from the body. And we don't want that because we lose support. Do the opposite, turn. You can even, again, turn the entire heel of the hand so it faces forward. Just like we did in triangle pose. Same thing here. Turn the heel of the hands forward. Bob. Other direction, yeah. Yeah, like that. Heel the hands towards L's. That's it, exactly. Yep. Now both legs straight. Feel the triceps pushing into the arms, driving the sternum and the chest forward. Feel the quadriceps pushing into the legs, pushing them back. Drive the thighs back as the sternum and the chest reach forward. Let those arms do part of that job. Now from here, you can begin to lower down. Keep the legs straight. We're not going to be here for long. If you don't have head support, that's fine. If you do and you want to use it, you're welcome to. Keep the weight of the body on the legs, on the feet. Gently press the hands down and ask the flesh of the back chest to go away from the floor. Ask the flesh of the upper back chest to go away from the base of the skull. Try to elongate that area. So the weight of the body remains on the feet, but there's a gentle pressure of the hands to keep clarity in the neck and in the shoulders. Soften the base of the skull, soften the jaw so you can invite sort of that inverted state, the fresh arterial blood to get into the brain. Good. Begin to straighten out the arms. Arta position, half position. Now heel toe, the feet in towards each other a little bit to help you come up and out. Good. Come to standing for a moment. Interlace your fingers. So you have sort of the thumbs should just barely touch. They're just sort of resting on each other, but the webbing should be complete, right? So there's a little space here. I'm going to bend your arms and get the thumbs to go along the occipital ridge, the base of the skull. I don't know if you can, hopefully you can see this. Here again, the shoulder blades go down, the tops of the shoulders go down, but the elbows go slightly towards each other. So I'm making space. Drop the shoulders down, let the elbows go slightly towards each other. The backs of the hands are very gently contacting the base of the skull. Good. Release and come out. So what I just showed you was the base of headstand, Shirshasana headstand. Now, we're not doing full headstand, but we are going to do the work required because you've heard me talk about this before, rotator cuff problems, which is, again, often caused by impingement and these kinds of things. Rotator cuff problems can be surprisingly really helped out when you do the work of Shirshasana. It can actually really negate problems with rotator cuffs, problem with the shoulders. So with that in mind, we're going to work on Shirshasana. We're not going up. We're just going to work on the arm. So I want you to watch me for a moment. I interlace my fingers. My elbows are roughly in line with my shoulders, so they're not too wide. They're in line with the shoulders. And then from here, I already begin to chop the forearms down, come to the crown of the head. What's important is to protect the shoulders is you have to really keep chopping the wrists and forearms into the floor to create space and support. So I'm pushing the forearms down to give me some lift. From here, keep pressing the forearms down. I'm going to have to straighten out the legs. Keep chopping those forearms down, walk the feet in. Try not to collapse the back. The forearms pressing gives you that lift. And then you're just going to release and come to child's pose. That's all you're doing. Come to your hands and knees. If you want to fold up your mat for a little more support or get a blanket, that's fine. Our legs are not leaving the floor. We're just doing sort of the preparatory work. And I'll give the little giveaway, those who want to, on the yoga show videos, there's instructional stuff for headstand if you want to complete the pose. Interlace the fingers to the webbing. Come to your forearm. Make sure your elbows are roughly shoulder width apart. Come to the crown of the head. And really try to feel what the crown of the head means, not close to the forehead, really at the very top of the head. Now, before you begin to straighten out the legs, before you tuck the toes under, already chop the wrists and forearms down. The arms need to work like crazy. The triceps, like they've been doing, need to work like crazy. Press the wrists and forearms down, come to the crown of the head, tuck the toes under, straighten out the legs. Chop the wrists and forearms down, chop the wrists and forearms down. Feel the shoulder blades going in towards each other. Make sure your elbows don't get too wide. Get a feeling of sort of rolling from the outer elbows towards the inner elbows. Chop the wrists and forearms down. Walk your feet in a teeny bit more. Chop the wrists and forearms down. Keep pressing. Walk the feet in a teeny bit more. Take your back chest towards the legs, your legs towards the back chest. Good. Release. Come down. Rest in child's pose. Take a few breaths. So there's an Iyengar, there's a doctor in Manhattan named Lauren Fishman, who was a student of Iyengar's back in the 70s. He came back to New York really jazzed by the style and became a doctor. And he's fairly well known for certain forms of therapy. And he's discovered that this practice, what you just did, is one of the best things for rotator cuff problems, not because, primarily because it actually retrains the muscles. Instead of just requiring the deltoid muscle to do it, you're asking more of the back muscles to support the arms. We're going to do this one more time. Interlace your fingers. Sorry, if you can remember, change the interlace of the fingers. Press the forearms down, come to the very crown of the head. So again, the thumbs are sort of cradling the occipital ridge. The outer elbows should roll in a little bit towards each other. Tuck the toes under, press, chop those forearms down. Really, don't underestimate that instruction. Really chop the wrists and forearms into the floor. Walk the feet in. Keep chopping the wrists and forearms down. So you're trying to keep, the arms are supporting the neck, so it's not taking too much weight. One more time. Chop the wrists and forearms down. Walk the feet in a teeny bit more. Get the flesh of the back chest to go up towards the hips, towards the ceiling. Get the shoulders to go away from the floor. Good. Release, come down, rest in child's pose. Take a few breaths. If it's easier, more comfortable for your arms to be down by your sides, you can do that. And then press the hands down to come up. So one of the poses that we have not done, that we usually do at the beginning of class, is downward facing dog, Adho Mukha Svanasana. And let me start by just, so this is Light on Yoga. I bought myself a new copy because mine's falling apart. So this is a brand new copy of Light on Yoga. I got it for less than $10. I would highly recommend you get yourself a copy if you don't have one. It is the book, it's the shit. This is the book to have, or just for whatever, just to be very direct. Now, we're going to do downward facing dog. I want to show you one thing for starters. How many poses come before downward facing dog? So all these poses that you're seeing here, these are all poses that are coming before downward facing dog. Triangle pose, all this stuff. And it is until, strangely enough, even after a lot of the back bends. So he has an upward dog and stuff like this. This all comes before downward facing dog. So I want to show you the picture of downward facing dog. This is Iyengar's version of Adho Mukha Svanasana. You can see this. Look clearly. Now, for starters, I want you to notice something. It's sort of an illusion that happens. You think that he's in a deep back bend, but he's really not. Watch what happens when I cover his shoulders. His back is straight. There's no back bend. It's the bend here. It's the space that he found in the shoulders that enables him to bring his head down. I'm not asking anyone to bring their head down. Now I want to show you something else. These pictures are great because they're really detailed. His inner arms are rolling out, just the way I've been asking you to do. His biceps are sort of towards each other. His inner elbows are rolling away from each other, and that creates space in the area of the neck and the base of the skull. So these two things, the pictures in this book are really valuable. But again, I want to emphasize, and then I'll show you, now that you've seen these pictures, I'll show you what I'm talking about. So you have a couple variations, right? You know, the less flexible might be this, might have their back rounded and their shoulders, or they're tight in the shoulders. And then there are some who are actually quite a bit more flexible and they collapse the back chest. But you can see that my shoulders really haven't found much space. What Iyengar is doing is, again, all the work that we've done, and this is why I would emphasize turning your fingers out. I roll the triceps really towards each other, biceps away from each other, and I use that to find space. So suddenly you can see that it's not the chest that's having to bend, but it's the space in the shoulders. You see what I was talking about? You see a little bit? Okay, good. It's your turn. Come to your hands and knees. So I also want you to observe all the work that we've done now. We haven't done downward facing dog yet. So maybe you'll feel downward facing dog differently than you normally do when we do at the beginning of class. Now let's start. We'll do it classically. We'll really work together. Come to your hands and knees. Have your knees directly below your hips. Have your hands directly below your shoulders to start. Now, you're going to move your hands one hand's length forward. So the heel of my hand is going to where the fingertips are. I'm moving my hands one hand's length forward. Now, turn your wrists and fingers out a little bit. Turn the hands and wrists out because this will get, again, complement that rotation of the shoulders, rotation of the arms that we need. Already begin to turn the triceps towards each other. Already begin to get the biceps to go away. Don't lose that. Tuck the toes under, begin to straighten the legs. As you move into the pose, roll the triceps towards each other. As you move in, get the biceps away from each other. And back to the beginning of class earlier when I was talking about impingement, this is how we reduce the chance of impingement in shoulder in downward facing dog. Press the root of the thumb and index fingers down so you feel the outer triceps going towards the floor. Straighten out the legs, push the thighs back. Push the thighs back, use that leverage of the arms to find extension in the spine. Soften the neck, let the head release. But keep fighting. There it is, Lee. I saw that. Keep fighting to find a little more extension of the armpit chest, stretching the skin of the armpit itself. So that space happens in the upper chest instead of the back itself. Press the thighs back, soften the neck, let the head hang. Embrace the state of inversion. Good, rest in child's pose. Again, if the arms or shoulders are tired, you can have them go down by your sides if it's a little more comfortable for you. But again, just observe sort of the effects of what you've been doing for the last 45 minutes or so, 50 minutes, on the area of the neck, the sinuses, the clarity that you can begin to find through just the release, the work that you did in the neck and the shoulders. You gently press the hands down to come up. So now we're going to go to bridge pose. You guys were familiar with it. And we're going to do, it's all that same stuff. It's all the same instructions. You can watch me for a moment. If you want a blanket for your head, for your chest, for your shoulders, you can have it. If you need a strap to connect your hands to your ankles, you can. Have your block with you. And again, you're seeing this is the pose that we're working on. But the idea is the same as everything we've done. I roll the biceps away, the triceps towards each other to get that space. I press the arms into the floor, but keep the jaw, the throat soft. If you need contact hands to the ankles, to the feet, you can get a strap. But this is the pose we're doing. Go on in, get yourselves ready. Get the props that you need. We will be using supports on the block near you so you don't have to struggle to find it. I want to emphasize a couple of things. Through the whole class, I've been really talking about keeping softness in the neck, even though the arms are working, the shoulders are working. And it's the same thing here. You have to really, they're very close together. Of course, the muscles of the shoulders and the muscles of the neck are right next to each other. And you have to sort of make sure that they're not, that the neck doesn't harden while the shoulders are doing their work. Bend the legs, feet to the floor. If you need the strap around your ankles, go ahead and do that. Lie down, just relax the throat, relax the jaw, relax the tongue. I want to emphasize the head, the neck doesn't do anything. You're not pushing the head into the floor at all. You're not turning the head. It's all the work of the shoulders. Press the feet down, lift the hips up, wrap those outer shoulders. So once the hips come up, you find more space and use all the work you've done for the past 50 minutes, really deeply externally rotate those arms so you feel the shoulder blades really pushing into that back chest and giving you that support. Again, the arms are working in service to the chest. The legs are working in service to the hips. Arms and legs work in service to the spine. Press the feet down, lift the hips and tailbone up. Wrap the outer shoulders more deeply. And now, as you're here, isolate the difference between the work of the shoulders and the deep passivity and softness of the neck and the throat, the base of the skull. Now find your support. Find the block, place it underneath the sacrum. So now if you have your hands on your ankles or on the straps, you can let go. Turn the palms again so they face towards the ceiling. Get that deep rotation. Same idea that all the stuff we've been doing complements this pose that we're in now. And you can feel the mechanism of the rotation of the arms making the shoulder blades sort of support that back chest. Now from here, anyone who wants to, it's not required. Sometimes people have pain in the lower back when they do this. If you want to extend your legs, straightening the legs, you're welcome to do that. Reach the heels away. But if there's any strain that happens in the lower back when you do this, just go back to the bent leg variation. It's fine. If you are in the straight leg variation, try to keep extending to the heels more so than the mounds of the feet, because that keeps the back long. But as you hear, observe again, like I said, just the finding space, finding the stretching, the releasing of the muscles in the shoulders really does help respiration. It helps find clarity in the upper chest. It helps you find space and clarity in the sinuses. If your legs are straight, bend the legs, feet to the floor once again. Gently push the feet into the floor to lift the hips. And then move the support out from under you. When you come out, release the buttocks flush the heels, buttocks flush towards the heels. Hips on the ground. Just go ahead and wrap your arms around your shins. Hug the legs. Roll a little bit to the left and to the right. Mm-hmm. And then happy babies pose. Soften the hips, soften the groins. Again, roll a little bit to the left and to the right. Good. Gently release, roll your sides to come up. So you can use either a blanket or a towel or something. I want to have a little spine support and head support for Shavasana. So I have this set up, and I basically just zigzag fold it like this a few times. And then from here, I fold one end. So this is where my head is going to be. A little support. My spine is here. So chest is on the support. Head is a little bit lifted. So when you come to lying down in Shavasana, again, you want to feel very centered. The hips are touching the ground. The chest is supported by this towel or a blanket. The head is on the folded end, a little bit higher than the chest. Now, as you're lying here, you should be able to feel that the support is going almost between the shoulder blades. You'll feel the inner shoulder blades turning, sort of being pushed into the back chest. The outer shoulder blades release more towards the floor. You should feel sort of a broadening of the upper chest. And this will be your Shavasana. So take a few moments to feel balanced, adjust as you need to. If you feel like you're falling a teeny bit to the right, it will be more noticeable in a few minutes. So really try to find that true centered balance left and right. And take the time again to gently sort of place the arms in that external rotation position. So you can feel as you're lying here, the shoulder blades are going down the back, and the bottom tips are sort of pushing in a little bit. If we were in a classroom setting, if we were in an Iyengar studio right now, I would probably be going around and either pushing the outer shoulders more into the floor, or maybe even taking sandbags and placing them sort of on the front of each deltoid to create a little more grounding of the shoulders. So even though that isn't, that isn't there, see if you can sort of arrange yourself so you feel a release of the outer shoulders towards the floor. Imagine that there's maybe a couple 10-pound weights on the front of your deltoids, pushing those outer shoulders into the floor. But now that you're in this posture, in this supported Shavasana position, relax completely, let go completely. As we do at the beginning of class, relax the muscles of the face, soften the forehead, the eyebrows. As I said at the beginning of class, open the eyes of the temples. So there's a sense of space and release there. Relax the throat. And again, through all this work that we've done in the area of the upper chest and the shoulders, your awareness, your sensitivity is increased there. And really go with that. Take advantage of this increased sensitivity and see if you can sort of find more space and more release. Soften the muscles of the spine entirely, the paraspinal muscles, the ones that connect the vertebrae and run along the sides. Try to find a deep release there. And we didn't talk much about the legs, the hips, but ask the hips, the groins to let go completely, to settle. Now, begin to let your inhalations be longer and fuller. And observe that your awareness moves outwards again. You can move the toes and fingers a little bit. Bend your legs, feet to the floor. Gently roll to your right side. Roll off your support. Rest your head in your right arm. Stay there for a couple of breaths. If there's any strain in the back, you can bend the legs a little closer to the chest. And then to come up, press the hands down, come to sitting. Just for a minute or so. Just come to a comfortable cross-legged position. You can sit on a support if you'd like to. Comfortable cross-legged position, sit straight and tall, let the backs of the hands rest on the knees or thighs. As we did at the beginning of class, keep the head level over the shoulders, close your eyes from top to bottom. And in terms of comparison,
Look at the state of the body, the mind now, compared to when you were in this position at the beginning of class. Hopefully, the sense of presence is a little bit stronger. The sense of self is a little stronger. And try to let this quietness, this sense of self, this sense of presence begin to create an impression in the brain, something that you can go back to when needed. And bring the palms together, your chest in prayer. Take a moment to be grateful for having a body that's healthy and strong enough to take a class like this and having a mind and the will to bring you here. And then just take a moment to think of anything else you might want to be grateful for. And thank you all. Namaste. Thanks, everybody. I'm here. If anybody has any questions, feel free to speak up.